Welcome, welcome Virgos. Welcome to Keykey's Doorway. Let's see what your soulmate wants you to know for October 27th to October 29th, 2018. God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father. What does Mr. and Miss Virgo's soulmate want them to know for October 27th to October 29th, 2018? What does Mr. and Miss Virgo's soulmate want them to know for October 27th to October 29th, 2018? What actions will Mr. and Miss Virgo's soulmate will be taking for October 27th to October 29th, 2018? What actions will they be taking October 27th to October 29th, 2018? Okay, let's see. Masculine Virgos. Wow, your soulmate wants you to know that they have met you as a high priest or priestess. Just like the Taurus reading. Whenever you get a chance, check out the Taurus reading as well for October 27th to the 29th. Your soulmate, Mr. Virgo, wants you to know that they are undergoing the hidden knowledge of who they are as a high priest or priestess. Even you are a high priest and high priestess, Mr. Virgo. Your soul has aligned with another soul in regards to you are a great teacher. You can be a great teacher in any arena of life. Yet you resonate with spiritual teachings as an undertone. You're very intuitive and empathic. Whatever you think normally has happened, or when people are asking for advice, you tap into that high priest and priestess side of yourself. See, that whole time to find the solutions for people and even for yourself. Now is the time to acknowledge that where you have gotten that from is from your family tree. Whatever country, whatever plane, whatever social class, whatever financial upbringing you had, does not matter. You are royal in regards to people come to you for solutions. You are a healer for the world. You are a teacher to the masses, even to yourself. You are a student as well as a teacher. Now is the time to acknowledge that and see the victory in knowing that about yourself and knowing that about your soulmate. Female Virgo, your soulmate is taking the time now to forgive any misconceived notions they had about you if y'all have connected already. If y'all have not yet, they're now taking this time to forgive themselves for anything they felt did not formulate or did not really resonate to who they are on the inside. They want to take this time to forgive even how they judge themselves and others. Again, female Virgos, even though the masculine energy soulmate is the high priest and high priestess, does not mean that your soulmate does not have those same traits in them. That would explain why they have to forgive. In order to forgive others, a lot of times we have to forgive ourselves, and that sounds like a cliche, but in this reading, it looks like male and female Virgos, your soulmates, including yourself, have to forgive what makes your soul express itself every day. When you wake up, it's not just your body waking up, it is your mind waking up, your soul waking up. And it is walking alongside you. Now you're taking that time to forgive anything that you might have misjudged yourself on, or felt like, oh, I should have known that, or I should have known this, because you're all about balance. But in order for you to have balance, you had to have imbalance in your life, in your life experience, in your personal life. Now forgive that. Take the time to forgive that. And know that imbalance does not mean that you're imperfect. Imbalance makes the imperfection perfect. Remember, inside, you have to learn what it means to map out. You're propelling yourself to become perfect. So even in the word imperfect, even in the word imperfect, you still have the word perfect. You're now aligning the imperfections of who you are to the perfections of who you are. These coexist at the same time, whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not, as human beings. Mr. and Miss Virgos, Miss and Mr. Virgos, you're now seeing that when you have met your soulmate, it had allowed you to answer or to look at these things that you might have held as dormant or as a dungeon to store your discernment in. Now's the time to release them and see it as a beautiful thing. Because the reason why we gravitate to you, Mr. and Miss Virgos, is because you're like the James Bond. You're like the Mission Impossible. You show us how things that we consider impossible, possible. Again, in going within to see the possibilities. So when people say that's impossible, you're looking and laughing like, well, you still have to have possibility in that word. And you're all about going outside of that to find a possibility. Now is the time to forgive that you had to take those leaps of faith to find how to become perfect in your own image, in your own sight. Forgive that. This is what we love about you, that you show us how to be perfect by learning how our imperfections make us perfect. We love being around you, Mr. and Ms. Virgos, because you keep it real. You keep it 100 by showing all of who you are and not just some parts of who you are. Forgive that, because that's what gives people to come to you with open arms or to not feel intimidated by you. The actions you will be taking, your soulmate, masculine Virgo, will be the Six of Water. Memories of their history or childhood will be surfacing up and seeing how it ties into their high priest and priestess side of themselves. Again, it's funny how they're going into their sixth house of Virgo. So to say that you don't influence them would be an understatement. Even if they haven't met you, your energy and your emotions have influenced them. And it's now influencing you. Your soulmate is now becoming that scale for themselves, that balancing scale, and forgiving who they are to weigh those balancing scales out in their emotions and their intuition. God bless you. So history of their childhood, they're going to heal, but look at very logically and holistically. Issues regarding children. Again, their childhood ignites who they became spiritually and who you became. In order for you to be a high priest or priestess, you had to experience abandonment. You had to experience isolation. You had to experience disharmony in your community to figure out how to become that balance for the community, for yourself. So you no longer have to romanticize about the past, but you're seeing how romanticizing the past in the most accurate way can benefit. Not in a way that displeases your ear and your head and your heart. Look at it for real. Because romantic novels were really about action. Again, I just mentioned Mission Impossible and James Bond. Yes, they are action movies, but in its origin, they were considered romantic movies. Romance movies. So, again, you're aligning those two aspects of yourself. That's what your soulmate is doing, masculine Virgos. That's what you're doing. Female Virgos, you're becoming that change, that 5 of fire. You're becoming that change, and you're becoming more fiery in that change. Do not get alarmed for that, because your opposite sign is Pisces. But know that even with Pisces, they are the body of water for the earth. And the core is lava, is heat. So, you are bringing out the core of who you are to the surface, and you're becoming more passionate, more driven. And yes, you will have competing goals. This is why the need to forgive is essential. And to look at the day and night, the light and darkness of yourself, and align them together and have them become your force. Your force. So the bothersome details will become a brilliant new roadmap to become a detour for. Let your details be your detour. Be your guide. Be your tour guide. Conflict with others, whether it be the five aspects of yourself, that's that conflict. You're going to find that key core that will help the other 4 faces of yourself come into agreement. Even if it's looking at the 5 chakras, or looking at the 5th elements. Earth, how you look at stability. How do you look at your values? Water, how do you look at your emotions? How do you look at your intuitions, Miss Virtuous Virgos, Virgins? Air, how do you communicate when you do understand your emotions? Is it clear, or do you hide them? Now you're going to bring them to the surface, and you're going to use your spirit as that guide. You use your spirit as we all use our spirit, and it's in the form of a gut intuition, or when we think of something but we say nah, that's when we should. I have a tendency to do that myself. I think of something, I'm like, oh, why should I do that? And then I regret it later. Now you're not doing that. You're aligning those aspects of yourself and becoming that one. I have 5 aspects of myself, like 5 fingers, but I have 1 hand. So you're figuring out how to align these 5 aspects or principles of yourself to make as one. So those conflicts become a cure, become a remedy for others, including yourself. That's what your soulmate is going through and in learning, and that's what you're experiencing as well. Masculine Virgos, your soulmate is becoming the house of Sagittarius. They're going to be becoming that trailblazers. They're going to step out in the community, and they're going to become more grounded in how they word and how they communicate their principles, their high priest and priestess side of themselves, their spiritual and religious side of themselves, their sexuality, sensuality, their mental and metaphysical, every part of who they are. They're going to be more open in communication, and they're no longer going to expect the worst. And if they do expect the worst, if this is you, Mr. Virgo, as well, expecting the worst, you're seeing that does not help for you. Again, you're at the completion. You're at completion. You're at the 9th cycle. Do you want to complete this cycle again? No. So now you're figuring out how to expect worthiness instead. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Expecting worthiness instead. Expecting worthiness. Expecting to win instead. Saying that. Keep saying that as a repetition 9 times. Every time. Will bring in your physical world those worthiness scenarios. Those worthiness self-prophecies. And those sleepless nights will be turning into sedated nights where you can sleep and get your downloads through your ancestors that way. Your ancestors is your family tree that has passed on to the ethers. They're going to come to you in your dreams. They're going to come to help you. So if you do have sleepless nights, know that maybe they're communicating through your dreams, and they need you to jot those dreams down. So when you wake up in the morning, you know how to slay those things that cause you strife. That's what your soulmate is doing as well. Miss Virgos, again, you went to the 5 to the 9, both masculine and feminine. Your soulmates, including yourself, are going to be completing a cycle and going to start anew. And before you start anew, you're going to align your intuition, your emotions, and your passion, and what drives you, and your ego, and what gives you that individuality to move forward and not be ashamed of anything about you, but to embrace it and see where it takes you. So don't give up. This is what your soulmate is not doing. And I don't feel that this is what you're going to do. Miss Virgos, do not give up, because your soulmate is not giving up. Protect that which you have created. Whether it means getting crystals, whether it means getting books of Psalms, whether it means getting scriptures or testaments that resonate with you right now. Pick those things up. Start speaking them once more. Because when you speak them this time, you will have a more understanding of each word and why they are significant to you right now, which will help you to manifest even more of your courage and your belief in yourself. So till we meet again, Mr. and Miss Virgos, you and your soulmate are unlocking how to be your own spiritual guru, how to forgive in that process. And how you becoming your own guru within you will be helping the masses and will help to heal you and everything around you. I love you. I love you. We will see you on the other side.